Welcome everybody to another episode of Fantasy News. I'm your disheveled goblin host, Daniel Greene, and today we're kicking it off without question one of the biggest fantasy news stories of the year. One of the trio of Terrys has announced their retirement. That is right, Terry Brooks has said at the age of 81 he is officially done writing the Shannara series. Though the series isn't done, and that is because Dahlia S. Dawson is officially going to be taking over and continuing to work in this universe. And Dahlia has an impressive career of their own, having written from things in the Star Wars universe to their own series involving titles like No Country for Old Gnomes. Nice. And they have collaborated with other authors before, seeming to be well lined up for this job. But focusing back on the man, the legend, Terry Brooks, it's just incredible that after 50 years of writing in this universe and nearly as many books in this universe, he gets to step down essentially on top with one more book written by just Terry Brooks coming in the universe as well. Galaphile, the First Druids of Shannara, set to be released March 11th of this year. It's just a well-earned, triumphant retirement and just a massive salute to someone who has been so quintessential for the fantasy genre and holds the crown in my book of biggest glow up from book 1 to book 2. I did review book 1 of the Shannara series here on the channel and didn't love it, but the second book I thought was an absolute banger and has one of the best glow ups I remember seeing in my life for an author between just one book. So just wow, it feels like a monumentous day for the genre, and congrats to not only Terry Brooks, but to Dahlia for inheriting such a monolith within this community. And I'm excited to see the series keep going with having so many books in it, as Terry Brooks even cites in their announcement of stepping down. It's not just something that happened with Wheel of Time, and it doesn't only happen when authors pass. There is a history of fantasy series being inherited within the genre, as Terry Brooks said, from Tarzan to frickin' Nancy Drew. That's more speculative fiction, but you get my point. If you are a Brooks fan, let me know your favorite book in the comments down below. I do plan on, in my life, getting through more Shannara books. I just am not doing it right now because this year I'm trying to do more standalones or like currently released modern fantasy. And I doubt I can jump to what is, I think, around the 50th book in the series that's coming out this year and just like roll with it. Though that could be an interesting experiment as well. But before we get into the book cover news, we have one more massive achievement being unlocked for an author here in this space. And that is going to be because the 7th book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series has officially made DCC a New York Times best-selling series. God damn. Oh, that feels so cool for this series, and as the top comment on several of the announcements I have seen for this have said, new achievement unlocked, New York Times bestseller. That, if you have read the books, fits in universe. It's a LitRPG. And bold statement, I've read more than a couple now, more than a few, probably the best entry point to LitRPG in existence. I've seen people on the r/fantasy subreddit kind of put it best. It just transcends the genre and is just genuinely addictive, great literature. And I can't wait to finish the most recent book. I just picked up book 7. I actually finished the prologue this morning. And after I release my review of The Doll Makers later this week, it'll be the next book review you get from me. After that's going to be Angie Kills a King and then Mushroom Blues. Ha!
Life is a journey of self-discovery, finding new hobbies, new dreams, new passions. Discovering your favorite fragrance should be just as exciting. Sometimes it's just about knowing where to start. Scentbird is a monthly fragrance subscription service that allows you to try new perfumes every month, avoiding the commitment and cost of pricey full-size bottles. With over 900 fragrances available, including popular brands like Prada and Versace, as well as niche labels, Scentbird offers plenty of opportunities to find your signature scent. If you, like Daniel, prefer crisp, refreshing scents with herbaceous anchors, consider Versace's Dylan Bleu Poron with its violet leaf base backed by notes of tonka and saffron, or Tumi's Dusk with aromas like lemon and vetiver that are complemented by the peppercorn and amber undertones. Their refillable cases make it easy and convenient to carry along in your bag while you're on the go. and come with a 30-day supply, which is also delivered directly to your door. All you have to do is scan the QR code or use code GREENE55OFF to get 55% off your first month at Scentbird, and you can get your first fragrance for just $8, and the next month will only be $16.95. Again, that's promo code GREENE55OFF, or scan the QR code and discover the scent that's right for you.
And then in a last-minute fantasy news update, we also had a deluxe edition cover reveal drop for This Is How You Lose the Time War. For those of you who don't know, this is a story about two entities communicating across time and space in a fantastic romantic but like alternative science fiction tale. It's a quick read and recently had an explosion of popularity due to a mega viral tweet in the book Twitter space. I don't know if there's another term for that. And I totally buy into the hype. I think this is a magnificent book. I actually don't have a copy right now because a friend took mine. So this might actually be a special edition I'm going to get because it is, in terms of having the different facing letters with the color specific choices, all of this is kind of exactly what I would want to see for This Is How You Lose the Time War special edition. It's truly beautiful, and having like the space page edges even. Just so many correct choices here. Something about books written by two authors and the fact that they like wrote this by passing it back and forth to each other. It's just kind of one of those books that's special because of its conception, the quality of its execution, the reception, and with a list price of just 30 USD, that's actually not egregious for a special edition at all. In fact, I would say this is just like the price range of a regular hardback. So yep, it's actually going to be for sure added to my cart. Very cool. I guess because it's a novella. Yeah, okay, it's a deluxe edition novella, but I still think a really reasonable price, especially for a story of this quality. Next news. But that is going to take us to the cover reveals of this week, and we got some bangers. That is going to go ahead and start with a cover release from Orbit Books titled The Bone Raiders by Jackson Ford, coming this August. Pitched as The Bone Raiders is a start of an edge-of-your-seat action-packed fantasy series from the always irreverent Jackson Ford, where a wild band known as the Bone Raiders harnesses the power of gigantic fire-breathing lizards to defend their home. With cover art by Thea Dimitriou, and in like a very Nicholas Eames vibe for this cover, not just because the art does actually remind me of Nicholas Eames's with the typography and like the positioning of the people. It also has a quote or a little pitch on the front that says, "We didn't start the fire." Kayla just put in like 2 seconds of the song real quick so we don't get copyright struck. And this one I'm going to give a B+. Really solid cover, good pitch, captures the vibe. But in our next cover, we are having a release announced by you know him, you love him, Patrick Leo. And that is going to be for Legend by the legendary David Gemmell. Coming from The Curious King with art by Justin Sweet. Oh, damn. Of course, there's no typography on this yet. That's going to make a difference. But in terms of just raw art, hell yeah. I really enjoy the Norse aesthetics with this color palette. And I like that there's a potential whack about to happen. You see this? We're getting a whack moment, and I'm giving this one an A. I think, well, I'm going to give it a caveat. It depends on the typography, but I seriously dig this. There's a lot of depth to it, too. I really like how the colors have been used to highlight that. But then we also had a hardback cover reveal coming for Elaine Ho's Cry Voidbringer, which, yeah, there's a comma there, so it's like an instruction. And this is for the UK hardback, and it is with art by Sam Gretton. A broken system forges the sharpest blades. And it will be available this autumn. And I know this is a bit more minimal and simple of a cover, but I like that it is like a black cover, but where that void is, they made like the choice of making that a darker black. It's wildly successful. I actually really like it. Sometimes simple is exquisite. But then in some curious book announcement news, we've gotten an update from Stephen King. The master of horror is apparently going to be working on a Brothers Grimm reimagining of Hansel and Gretel, with illustrations by the late Maurice Sendak. This is going to be a picture book edition of the fairy tale classic with art that was originally created in
1997.
And it's just cool to me to see that this late in his career, Stephen King is still willing to do odd collaborations like this, stuff that's not just in his traditional wheelhouse, though he is so experienced at this point. Kind of everything could be claimed to be within his vast catalog, but if you're a Brothers Grimm fan, pretty neat. The current publication is set to be in September. And then I'm not going to post any screenshots or usernames for this because I don't want to shine any light on this individual, but it does highlight a current issue going on in the online publishing space that is worth note. Someone is taking to a popular web novel website and publishing other authors' works as their own. No, they're not exactly going for like maybe indie hits. They're directly just retitling with a new cover and putting out works from Joe Abercrombie, Jay Kristoff, and Ryan Cahill, which, like, go for smaller fish, my guy, but you're gonna get caught anyway. This is something that does occur where people will just take a text that's not their own, try to go to a website where you can monetize putting out a book, and hope that they manage to find readers who are not aware of this because, yeah, your layman just on the street might not know who Jay Kristoff or Joe Abercrombie is. It's just like, really? I mean, it's stupid, it's shallow, it's an absolute disgrace, but at the same time, choose different fish. Okay, regardless, keep an eye out for this, especially if you see people who are like no audience suddenly cranking out multiple books in an unreasonable time frame. Not only can that be a red flag for AI, but it also can be a red flag for just straight up stolen works. So just to bring your awareness to another issue the internet has brought to the publishing space. I still love the internet, it's worth having, but my God. But let's go ahead and transition into two pieces of Lord of the Rings news coming out this week. I say that when I'll be like specifically two pieces, and it's like a curse that inevitably a piece of news from the same franchise will drop in the evening when I'm done editing, and it just screws me over. But I'm saying safely here now, there's going to be no more big Lord of the Rings news dropping between now and when this releases 9 a.m. tomorrow. I'm putting a stamp on it. Anyway, we have had a box set drop for the wider works of Middle-earth, meaning not the trilogy, but instead this box set will include the Great Tales of Middle-earth, which are The Children of Hurin, Beren and Luthien, and The Fall of Gondolin, packed together. And I know what you're saying. I've seen these covers before. I've seen these books before. Okay, so you can just buy them in a new box set. This is where they get you. It has some new art. And like, I'm not gonna get it, but that's enough to make me go, I want it. Not gonna get it, but damn! And it's specifically new art from Alan Lee, who, if you're in the know, is like the visionary of Lord of the Rings in books alongside a few other artists, but in my head, Alan Lee like dominates that vision. And the box set has a big dragon on it. It's so cool. Now, this next piece of news, I want to be careful talking about because it did spread everywhere and it was originally posted on the official LEGO website. And that is that there is another Lord of the Rings LEGO set coming, which would be Bilbo's birthday. How exciting. Gotta love that. And it looks to be a LEGO set that includes the firework dragon, characters you expect like Frodo, Gandalf, and Bilbo, Merry, Pippin, Sam, and we even have a birthday cake and a little stand for Bilbo to give his infamous speech where he doesn't even like nobody. This will complement very well the Bardur set they put out, as well as the, oh my God, what was the name of the elven place? Oh, this is an embarrassing forget. Rivendell. I wanted to call it Riverdale. That's a crossover in hell. The reason I'm adding a caveat to this though, the original link that every article used to the official LEGO website is now dead, and I'm having a hard time finding the LEGO website officially posting it. But this was originally rumored to be a thing like 5 years ago, and so I'm pretty sure it is happening. There may have just accidentally released a page too soon, or if I double check, maybe there's just a new link. I don't know. It's weird that they like accidentally maybe deleted or killed a link, but this was announced through LEGO. It's weird, but expect this to come, most likely. But speaking of more legends in the fantasy space, I didn't realize till I started recording just how jam-packed with big names this episode of Fantasy News is going to be. We have an update from George R.R. Martin in terms of a bar he has been working on creating in Santa Fe. And I know you're thinking like, what? What? Don't worry, it's kind of cool and a little bit fantastical because this is going to be a small apothecary-themed bar that people can rent called Milk of the Poppy. It's a concept bar in an apothecary style, described as having an almost dungeon quality to the space, as well as a bunch of dedication to making drinks you get at the bar, like very fantastical in a homebrew style, which I appreciate, and even more appreciate that apparently they're giving extra effort to mocktails as well. And as someone who has quit drinking and smoking, I appreciate that. And there will be food too. Yum. Apparently this bar will open, if you're in the area, March 21st. Neat. And we have one more piece of George R.R. Martin news. Only 2 pieces, right? News. And that second is going to be that Martin has confirmed they are already working on the 2nd season of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And Martin has said that while it has not aired yet, he's even seen the whole 1st season and does approve of it. And this is going to be based on Martin's novel titled Tales of Dunk and Egg, which follows a wandering knight known as a hedge knight named Sir Duncan the Tall and his squire Egg. As they travel across Westeros, Egg, still a boy in the series, will grow up to become Aegon V after his older brother refuses the throne, and Sir Duncan would later gain a legendary status and become a member of Aegon V's Kingsguard. But this is going to take me to some James Bond news because, yes, as you have probably heard, the biggest spy in the speculative fiction space has officially been acquired by Amazon. Yay! But Amazon has confirmed that James Bond will remain male and English. And the latter part of that, I was like, no one was thinking he wouldn't be English. British, sorry. Now, you might be a bit confused by this because Amazon already acquired MGM a while back for $8.5 billion, which did give them the distribution rights to Bond, but creative control, nah. The 2 that have been in charge of the creative vision for James Bond, Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli, who have been for decades, did finally hand over creative control, but what exactly the numbers in the deal there have been remain unknown. Notably though, there has been reports of a feud that went on between those 2 who had creative control of James Bond and Amazon executives, with reportedly Broccoli calling Amazon executives, quote, fucking idiots, to which reportedly Jeff Bezos responded, get rid of her, and that seems to have now happened, no matter what the cost. Oh wait, it says that there is nearly $1 billion deal to get rid of the 2. So yeah, my bad, the number is known and Jeff Bezos meant it when he said no matter what the cost. Goddamn. And all this means to me is if Amazon does fumble the ball, these 2 are going to look like the best caretakers of Bond ever who had to be paid an ungodly amount of money to finally give it up, and Amazon then screws it up. And if it's a success, well, these 2 had a great legacy of Bond with Daniel Craig, and then they handed it off to people for an insane amount of money who actually did do a good job. Win-win for them and win possible lose for Daddy Bezos. Although just with that one quote, I do immediately like Barbara Broccoli, not just because her name's dope too. But this is going to take us to the trailer news of the week, which is going to kick on off with Death Stranding 2. And I never played Death Stranding 1, though I watched all the trailers and was just kind of fascinated by the aura of it. Actually, no, I did play a little bit with a friend one time. But anyway, regardless, they have released officially a trailer for the follow-up Death Stranding 2, and this might be the most storytelling I have ever seen packed into a video game trailer, all of which makes me go, what? It is a lot. Like just, holy smokes, blast you in the face amount of lore building with tons of implications of things I had no idea were going on in this universe. And I just recommend if you like weird in Norman Reedus' face, you check it on out. But in quickie trailer news, The Last of Us Season 2 finally got a full-length trailer. And The Bondsman, starring Kevin Bacon, also got a trailer, which is apparently following a bounty hunter brought back from hell, played by Kevin Bacon, who is working for the devil to hunt demons. Very Ghost Rider-esque John Constantine vibes going on here. And then a news story that my camera overheated and stopped recording for the coverage of. I actually did manage to get it, but darn. Frieren Season 2 has officially confirmed its release date for January of 2026. And Can be more excited. Absolutely adore this anime. Now, to finish on out the fantasy news, a book written by one of you all that was put in the Discord server. That's right, if you want to have your book promoted, all you gotta do is join the Discord server, go to the Indie Pub promo channel, and throw your book on in there. And on top of that, if you want to see a fantasy news story covered here next week, go ahead and post it in the Fantasy News channel while joining in on the discussion going on for hundreds, thousands of books, always in the Discord server. Thank you, and here it is.
And today's Indie Pub promo is The Blighted Flame, Book 1 of the Inisea Chronicles by P.A. Pena. Pitched as a fantastic adventure of epic proportions, Pena has crafted a gripping tale of revenge, friendship, love, and war, all set in an amazing fantasy world. Enter a world where vengeance burns hotter than the fieriest infernos. Consumed by a relentless desire for retribution, Virgil Truesdale has spent 5 years pursuing the witch who tore his family apart. Desperate for revenge, he willingly enters the crucible of the Crusader's exam, a brutal trial designed to push him to his limits. Success in the exam means joining the prestigious ranks of the Crusaders' Alliance, providing Virgil with access to a global network of formidable resources to aid his quest. The journey is fraught with fierce adversaries, enigmatic allies harboring dark secrets, and a passionate romance ignited at the most inconvenient time. Yet in a world where alliances are fragile and enemies are ruthless, Virgil must confront not only external threats, but his own lingering demons as well. Will Virgil emerge from the scorching flames triumphant and finally settle the score that has haunted him for years? Check it out in the links down below.
And once again, big thank you to Scentbird for sponsoring today's video. Scan the QR code to go ahead and get 55% off your first month. But this has just been your latest episode of Fantasy News. Like and subscribe if you have not already, and hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here. Have a good one, y'all. Peace. Of course, I'd love to give a humongous shout out to my latest high tier Patreon, Hakon Gardard Goksen. I tried like really hard on that one, my guy.